right. Well,
Hey, I've got some factoids here real quick. I just want to mention this.
What's your show?
Because, well, no, it's not. It's your show, and I'm not going to take the blame for it, but I am going to hijack it for a second, because not only was the WWE, our friends here in Louisville this past week, but the UFC was too. They did the doubleheader at the Yum Center. This was one of the deals they were talking about, where they're going to have WWE on the one night of the weekend, Friday, and then the UFC on the next night, and rent the same major arena and blah, blah, blah. Remember, when they bought the company, they were talking about this synergism. That sounds like a word that Dusty would make up, doesn't it? Synergism.
Once everything's in the flywheel, we think that everything will move appropriately in the flywheel.
Well, they flew two wheels in the same town, and here's what they did. Now, the WWE we talked about when we talked about SmackDown, right? And they had round about 10,000 people, give or take, which, as I mentioned, is half a house in the Yum Center. It's a 20,000 seat building. But I honestly didn't even think about the UFC the next night until it was on the news the following day. The same corporate umbrella, if you will, now, they did 10,000 tickets on Friday night for SmackDown. And at these prices these days, that ain't chicken feed. And then the UFC fight night, the following night, did not only the all-time gate record for a one-day sporting event at the Yum Center, sporting event of any kind, and we're talking about NCAA tournament games, and we're talking about major shit, right? But it was the highest grossing UFC fight night event ever. For the UFC, they did $2.5 million. 19,578 fans sold out. So Louisville did $2.5 million, and in 2 days, the corporate entity sold 30,000 tickets. And what was SmackDown? It was probably only a measly, a piddling, as Aunt Lola would say, $400,000 or $500,000 house, maybe. Who knows? Whatever the fuck it was. But that's $3 million and 30,000 tickets in 2 days in Louisville. By comparison, in Los Angeles, they should have to rent the goddamn Olympic Stadium for a week, shouldn't they? If you go per capita, as the old folks used to say.
How much were tickets?
I don't fucking know, because I didn't check into it.
Jeez.
But apparently, for all the goddamn people I see on the news wringing their hands, or when you talk to people, if you have to suffer through that activity. Oh, times are tough. Times are hard. People are spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on wrestling and fight tickets. Help me. I wrestled with my conscience when we raised ringside in Smoky Mountain Wrestling in 1993, I think, to $10. I'm like, are we pricing ourselves away from the fans?
Well, I guess you could say with this success, they're pricing themselves for those fans.
Who are these people that have all this fucking money when everybody's complaining about everything? I'd like to know. Identify yourself. Show your papers.